Welcome to a live drawing show like no other. We're live. It's 11:30 p.m. on the East Coast of America, and this is There Will Be Ink. It's a live drawing show where we really just hang out with comic creators, talk about ideas and inspiration. Drawing is kind of secondary because I'm not really that great of an artist. I'm a writer first, a colorist second, and I draw for fun. But around this digital campfire, we often have really cool people come by. People like Brian Shearer, Eric Weathers, a list too long to name, people who are fantastic artists. And they hang out with us and we talk about creativity, inspiration, and talk about their current projects. The whole deal right now is that 2021 is the open road. There's nothing stopping you from making your dream, from writing your comic to developing your own IP. We've never lived at a time like this before, where you have high quality, small batch printing, you have social media to market and collaborate globally, and you have the internet to interact with fans. It's just an incredible time. If you've got a story, you could put your art team together. You could build this book and you can mail it anywhere on earth. So this is the indie comics dream. It's time to build it. My book right now is called Tales of Zero. It's a diesel punk jungle adventure story, kind of like Raiders of the Lost Ark meets Alien. And we're crowdfunding right now. We've got about 20 days left in our campaign, but we've already met our goals. So that book will be in the hands of backers. And my guest tonight is the creator of KYRIE and KYRIE and WILD Tales. He's going to share with us lessons learned from the first round of crowdfunding into the second round of crowdfunding. So if you're into building a comics world or you haven't started, this would be a good show for you. I'm going to learn a lot. This is only my first at-bat. One thing we do here is we don't do any trashing or bashing or hashtag wars. You know, the best thing you need to do to improve is to watch people who are more successful than you and learn the lessons from them, you know? I've got my opening credits, I feature this great cartoon show from Japan. It's called Gordion the Warrior. So you see him right here on his like hover bike, and he's just thwacked this whole crowd of thugs with his laser whip. And then right before he leaves with his robot panther Clint, he throws this guy a box of Band-Aids. He's like, hold on, I got something for you. So he pulls out from his glove compartment a box of Band-Aids and throws it to the guy. And this is the lesson of this. Look what the guy does when he gets the Band-Aids. He says thank you. And that's how it is. If you want to get into the comic book game and there's a person and their book is doing $100,000 and there's a person whose their book is doing $20,000 and $10,000 and your book barely cracks 1,000 and it's your first at bat, you know what you should say? You should say thank you. Because you're only going to be improving by emulating and learning from people with more experience than you. So that's kind of our methodology here. Build your dream, learn from other creators, collaborate, and let's make this marketplace a fun place for fans, customers to be, and creators to be. So with that incredible preamble, I want to welcome my guest, Matt, the creator of KYRIE Wild Tales, and your topic today is going to be lessons learned from year 1 to year 2. And for those anyone drawing along in the chat, our topic is heroes and villains from ancient empires. So Matt, I summarized my book pretty quickly. Raiders of the Lost Ark meets Alien. Tell us about the world of KYRIE, what it's about, what we need to know, and then maybe, just first take us through your world, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of crowdfunding.
Wow, that's a lot of amazing energy, and I'm going to try. I'm going to try and match it.
I'm the host. I have to kick it. Oh, I love my song.
Cartoons.
I love my song. Oh, it's a low production value, but I had fun, and that fun is contagious. That's what I'm saying, Matt. It's like this world, this indie scene that we're in right now. It's fantastic. It's 24/7. It's global. Fans could come here and meet a cool person, and then that person could introduce them to a new cool person, and we could build this thing. So all this stupid turf wars and like I'm this and you're that, and I can't be friends with you because you're friends with that. Fans don't want that. Customers don't want that. So I just feel like the fun or the energy I'm trying to bring, it's like, man, if we make this marketplace a fun place to be where fans get excited and we get excited, it rises all the boats, right?
Well, you've already got me thinking. And before I give you my pitch,
okay,
I'm actually wondering this, and I was thinking this in my head today as I was listening to the Brian Shearer stream that you had last week.
Sure.
okay, do fans like I'm not bringing the drama, but I'm asking, do
No.
fans like drama sometimes? Like maybe there's like a safe level where people
Yeah, I
kind
hear
of,
you. I hear you. Of
where it's
course.
like
Oh
like
no, you're right. Maybe I'm being a little Pollyanna-ish,
no. Like
but
maybe
no, I see your point. I
we
see
don't
your
want
point.
it trashing our campaigns, or we
Yeah.
don't like to see people have their indie careers ruined. Hey guys in the chat, Ashton Jackal and Area Blackness, by the way. Thanks for
Oh,
hanging with us.
awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna bring the chat up on my phone over here so I can have multiple devices going.
But
No,
it's a
you
funny
bring a
thing
point.
because
Drama
it's
does pull in ratings, I guess.
yeah, well, like maybe there's something broader because like I guess drama's kind of like a meme word now where it means
Hmm.
one specific thing, but it used to mean something more broad.
Mm.
Like maybe we just mean like I don't know, like I don't know. You go to these comic conventions, and maybe if you throw in a little bit of like maybe like 10% professional wrestling, like that could be kind of fun. Where it's like, you guys come over here to this. We're gonna do this thing at this booth. Don't listen to those guys over there. Like maybe I don't know. It's something I think about. Like because zero drama. Like I don't know. Like just us talking about comics, that can be dramatic. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like us being excited. What you just did, your
Hmm.
opening
Hmm.
was some of the most dramatic stuff I've seen on a newer show. That was really great.
Oh well,
Like
thanks.
that's
I guess
drama, but
yeah. I guess the definition of drama that I'm talking about, again, we shouldn't spend all night on this, but it's a valid question. Is when it's like I'm friends with
like
this
positive
person.
drama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm friends with this person, and but then that person is feuding with that person now. So
Mm,
if I say I'm
mm,
friends with this person, I can't sit at the same lunch table as them because now I'll
yeah.
be mad with. That's what I'm talking about drama. I'm talking about who can sit at which lunch table,
Oh,
and
that's yeah.
I've just
Good
watched
point.
it go on where it's like you see people and they were on the same team, and then 2 months a feud breaks out, and now they're not on the same team, and that's
Yeah.
the kind
Now
of drama
everyone's sitting at
fans
their
don't
own
need.
lunch tables. Yeah.
That's the kind of drama fans don't need. They want
Mm,
to know that, like, yeah, a kayfabe drama where, like, I tell you, Tales of Zero is going to blow KYRIE out of the water, and like
exactly.
we have a
I
good
love it.
laugh about it. That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, Tales of Zero is going to be the highest grossing book with scratchy, on purpose, degraded art style. I'm going to be the most scratchy and degraded looking #1 bestseller. Yeah, of course, that kind of drama is fun, and you can say I have the #1 North African bestseller and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah,
drama is
that's
fun in
something.
that way. But I'm just talking about more like in group, out group stuff, and I've just seen it go on. And
Mhm.
and the funny thing is, as that goes on, a lot of the creators who inspired me at the beginning, they still inspire me. So
Yeah.
sometimes your gut reading on someone is totally correct. Whereas
Yeah.
if you only judge them by the company they keep, then well, that can change. The company they keep
Mm,
changes.
hmm.
So it's just the simple idea of like, you get a feeling about a person, you see their project, it looks cool to you, go with that. Don't
Yeah.
question that. If you get a vibe from a person and you like their project, you want to check that person out. It's like we've been
That's a
taught to
good
like
point.
doubt ourselves or something.
Well, I think like what you're tracking with, fortunately, I guess, is like that would have been a minority opinion until 2021. Like I like what you said about how like it's an open frontier now for
Yeah,
2021. I think what you're
totally.
saying is actually being echoed a lot now. Like
I
I'm
do too.
hearing that a lot, and that's
I
that's
do too.
great.
Yep.
Like let's let that be a common
Yep.
refrain
Yep.
for
Exactly.
sure.
My keyword, and I try to, and I'm work, I find myself lumping in with creators who also have this keyword. It's just build it. Whatever
Yeah.
the thing is you're doing, build it.
Hmm.
Everything else
Hmm.
comes second after that. That's the #1 thing. Build it, and then we'll see.
Hmm.
Then we'll see who comes out on top and who is this and who is that. But if you never build it, there's no one to blame but yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I also have a bunch of little catchphrases. I think I'm like a holdout from the '70s, so I like to rhyme things, not like a rap in the '80s, but rap in the '70s. But I have this real basic human decency equation, which is that if you're building your dream, you're on my team.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
Arya
I
Black.
like
Arya Black is in the chat. He's had this
some good
character,
bars.
Tailless. He drew this character on notebooks when he was a kid. Like, this character has been in his heart, you know? And he's drawn this character in every iteration of his life, and now he's getting up to like put that character in front of the world.
Oh,
Dude,
nothing better than
I'm
that.
with you. I'm with you, man. If you're building your dream, you're on my team. That's the fundamental like status of loyalty we should have to one another as creators. It's like, if you have the courage to put your ideas out there and have the world judge them and say they suck,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
man, that takes guts right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Special kind of crazy and guts and ambition.
Yep.
It's
So
really
that's
is
kind of
beautiful.
the guild mentality, that there's a guild. Once you do that, you've proven yourself to the guild. And like, I may not like your project or whatnot, but I can keep my mouth shut about that. You know, like, you're doing your thing. You know, we're on the guild. Like, there's room for different styles, room for different aesthetics. But the idea that, you know, we have to take somebody down, or that, you know, only friends of Bob can do this, and if you're not a friend of Bob, you can't do that. Just we don't need that. We don't need that. There's so many good things happening, and the funny thing is, a lot of people who claim to be friends of Bob, I like Bob.
Yeah.
But I don't. And I bet Bob doesn't really want these people going around saying that they're the ones who speak for Bob. You know. So it's just nutty. It's just nutty. But hey, we're not here to talk about drama. Oh, Edwin, good to see you in the chat. Yeah, if you guys haven't looked at Edwin the Ace, his book is called The Ace, and it's about a kid who finds a sort of a not magical, but high-tech armor, and then becomes a sort of an unstoppable force when he merges with the armor. It looks incredible. Everybody get
I've
on
seen that
that.
around.
Back to Ace. And Edwin, if you, it is. It's awesome. And he also has the person in the armor, their antagonist is a extraterrestrial bounty hunter who is a humanoid with a giant shark head.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my God, it's so great. As soon as you see that image, you're like, okay, I'm in, you know, I'm in, damn it. So Edwin, yeah, if you want to come on or something, you could just hit me with a DM. We'd be glad to have you on. We're going to have, I think, Jose Garcia joining us as well. But Edwin was one of my first guests when I started doing this. And yeah, he's another person. I think if you got to talk to him, he would probably say, you know, I've been carrying this around for a long time, and finally putting it out in front of the world. I mean, it's just stories like that are what this is all about, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nice. Oh, yeah.
No, you go.
Well, it's funny, like, okay, so back to one more point from the Brian thing. This isn't about drama.
Oh, good.
It's the Brian thing. Yeah. But it was rather an epic stream, and anyone listening to this should go check it out. But like from 2018 on, you know, we just had this like mass. The metaphor I like to think of is like there's like this immigration wave. Yeah, there's like an exodus of people that just kind of like indie comics had been there, you know, for a century, and crowdfunding indie comics have been there for a decade. But 2018 was when like finally everyone people from like the mainstream side who were used to a very different kind of you know, production approach and understanding where they're going to pick up their comics at and what sort of stories they like, what sort of genres they like, and all that sort of thing. All of them just kind of lost their homeland and came over, right? And I'm doing this in a very non-drama way. I hope you can tell.
No. The story. No, I think here's a little rule of house rule for me. Yeah, talking smack about global corporations is permitted.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
They're different than people. Corporations are not people. So if, like, you know, the megacorp that owns Marvel and DC makes poor decisions, well, call them out. Call the megacorp out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they have made really poor decisions. Those megacorps have really tarnished legacies of those two great companies, you know?
Yeah. I really think, I mean, I guess it's not controversial to say they kicked out one demographic for another. And they're still trying to find that, I guess.
And also people like, you know, there was a whole idea of maybe there were a stat like Chris Claremont. You know, Chris Claremont, as far as I'm concerned, he's still on the payroll at Marvel. Yeah, they just don't give him any work. Yeah, and he did, you know, a New Mutants book, a one-off. maybe a year and a half ago with Bill Sienkiewicz. Guess what?
Oh wow.
It was really good. Well,
Oh,
duh. So you've got this talent that maybe is from the wrong generation or something, but it's
Mhm.
proven talent. Let them have a book. Get the proven talent in there. Let the proven talent write and bring new people in. Let new people tell new stories. But yeah, somehow the cart and the horse did not. Something went off the rails, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And also the art quality. I see. I mean, I should talk. My art quality is, you know, people would take issue with my art quality, but
I'm digging it.
I see things from the big two, and I'm blown away by how lame and
Mhm.
lacking energy and samey it all is.
Mhm.
And the lettering is atrocious. It's this really neutral font. They
Hmm.
use uppercase and lowercase letters.
Oh,
My
weird.
friends, comic books have always used uppercase and uppercase letters. It's so essential to the medium. And then
Like,
the important words are in.
you're talking like an exile. This is
Yeah,
great.
like
This
this
is
is how it's been from the days of yore. And then they use bolding, you know, like you have a long paragraph and 4 words are in the bold. It's like Superman, we must get the delta ray, and then we have to get to Magneto, you know, like certain
yeah.
words are in bold. Like here's a
Mhm.
whole register. It's like you're saying, there's a whole way that comic book text is handled. And then you look at some of the new thing, and it's like it just looks like someone word processed it, pressed enter, like they let an intern do it. And I'm not putting down interns. Chris Claremont started as an intern, but when you see that AT&T had DC fire their entire lettering department, and then stuff starts to come out of the pipeline that looks like it was just done by someone who doesn't know the medium, it doesn't take a detective to figure out that maybe they shouldn't have fired the lettering department.
Well,
So,
I I think so. Okay, so I did not grow up on mainstream U.S. comics,
mhm,
so so like think of me as like there's a lot of people who got exiled to this whole new land, this whole new. They had to go find another nation because they weren't
mhm,
welcome anymore in their homeland, and they went over into uh, like online comics, I guess,
mhm. Yeah, like
to
web.
say it broadly, which includes
Yep.
YouTube, which includes crowdfunding, includes
Yeah.
web comics and all that, Twitter,
Mhm.
and a lot of and so that sphere does use uppercase and lowercase because they're just used to
Mm.
Word doc. It's a
Yeah,
different
Word
language, right?
documents. It's a different language. Yep.
So it's just gonna like we're not sure if there are any rules because there's never been a, a clear, it's not, you can't, I don't know, they call it, we say there's an indie comics industry,
Mhm.
quote unquote,
Yep.
and we
Yep.
just mean slightly smaller corporations who you're still 100% dependent on. Like, I don't know
Yep.
if you're owning your copyright to your product but you're getting paid $500 for the
Well,
comic. Like, I don't know how independent that is,
oh
but
my gosh. Well,
like you would say, like, when you talk about indie, I don't know, this is another bugbear I have, but like when you talk about indie music, usually you mean it's like self-produced probably,
yep.
or very small label where there's really no money anywhere and everything's kind of being bootstrapped.
Yep.
And that's typically what people mean by indie in every other industry, and then in comics they mean image, and
Yeah.
something, and that's fine, that's 100% okay. That just means that there's like this language shift when it comes to
Yeah.
comics because it's so strange. But now that everyone is over here since 2018 and uh they're in my land, they've
Mhm.
immigrated into my
Mhm.
the internet, the strange world where people who didn't read superhero stuff growing up,
Mhm.
like this is like and you guys are learning our kind of native speech, like it's
Mhm.
kind of really interesting where all this to say, I do think drama is going to die down because there's so much space out here. The drama is necessary if you're kind of crowded and you need
Mhm.
to compete for
Mhm.
limited resources, which
Mhm.
what people needed to do when there was Marvel and DC and everyone was, competing for like 4 jobs a year. But
Yep.
now anyone with, $500 can conceive, in principle,
Mhm.
get a
In
crowdfunder
principle. Yep.
done. And if you have a pen and a light table, like you can make it happen. So now there's
Mhm.
just no barriers, so there's no reason for the drama except maybe a little kayfabe every now and then. But
Mhm.
it's kind of exciting. So I just
Mhm.
see it continues to dissimulate, and I guess the downside is that there's no uh, there's no fencing in, so we just don't have a structure. And now there's just like 1,000 crowdfunders on 1,000 hills, and
Mhm.
there's no way to congregate anymore like we used to do around big titles and around kind of like tentpole
Mhm.
creators like
Mhm.
like Bill Sienkiewicz or something, where
Mhm.
everyone knew him across the country because he was in every single local comic shop. So now
Mhm.
that's just kind of like, it's an interesting thing I think about when we crowdfund. Like crowdfunding now in 2021 is harder, and it's harder because like there's less eyes in one particular place now, so it's harder
Mhm.
to get that visibility. But it's easier now because there's what even few fences there were last year. Now there's even fewer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, like everyone's saying what you're saying now, which is great. That um, just buy what you like, don't buy what you
Mhm.
don't like, and don't worry about picking sides in particular.
Mhm.
Uh, HR disputes.
Mhm.
And so that's cool. But yeah, and I think before 2018, like 3K was a pretty decent raise, I think. And so
Mhm.
now we're going to have to get used to 3K being a decent raise again. I think that's
Oh
kind of
my gosh!
naturally where these
Absolutely.
things kind of fit. And you
Absolutely.
can't
I'm
you can't be excited
if
about
I
six
if
six
I make
figures.
it to 2K, I'll be excited because
Yeah, yeah.
I'm an untested creator. All I need to do is
Mm,
get a base hit, a solid base hit, get Tales of Zero into people's hands, have them read
mm,
it, and then
mm-hmm.
say, "God damn!" And
Yeah,
then maybe I could climb a little higher than 2K on the next one. But yeah, you've got to have
absolutely.
a realistic view of who you are and where you are. I
Mm,
definitely saw a lot of people think that they could just step out of the box and you know, hit some big moves. And I think maybe you can, but none of that is for granted. You can't borrow anyone else's
mm-hmm.
shine. This is just the bottom line. You cannot borrow someone else's shine. You have to shine yourself.
Mm.
And
More
it's
rap. I
like,
love it.
and that's fine. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer one of your thoughts with my own thought. You ready?
Oh,
This is
please.
my Yoda-esque answer to what you just said. The battle for next year and the year after that is in the readers' minds. The winners
Mm.
are going to be the ones who deliver an experience in the mind of the reader that is overwhelmingly impactful. And
Okay.
you see what I mean? Because it's like we've forgotten, and this is a thing that stays with me all the time, that a comic is a movie that plays in your mind. The pages you're holding are just like the film strip, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the act of reading it, the film strip is projected into the theater of your mind. And in the theater of your mind, you see movement, you see light, you hear the sounds. It becomes an immersive experience in the reader's mind. And
Yeah.
the people that can deliver that are going to be the ones that rise to the top. And there's nothing you can do to simulate that until the book is in someone's hand. So that's how I
Yeah.
feel like there's going to be the people that separate themselves out because they can't fulfill, or there's going to be the people that think who have a great online presence, but after a while they realize, well, the storytelling in the books isn't that good, right? And so I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
that's the real staying power is going to be who can I go to consistently have that magical experience when I crack
Mm.
open the book. And I'm putting all my eggs in that basket because that's my
Mm.
priority number one. And I feel like I'm just out of the loop and oldie. I'm like an old person, and so that's all I know. That's all I know is that I know how the New Mutants with Sienkiewicz made me feel when I was 11 or
Nice.
12. I know how the first
Mm-hmm.
10 issues of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles made me feel when they were brand new. Like
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. I can close my eyes and see the movie in my mind of what the book made me feel. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the pages on the book, I'm like, yeah, that's the thing that made me feel that. But the experience is in the mind, not on the page,
Mm.
And
Mm.
so that's the level where, like, when people see my piece and they're like, well, yeah, it looks pretty scratchy. I'm like, yeah, that's because you're looking at the film. You haven't seen the movie. Wait till you let it play in the theater of your mind. You're going to see that the scratchiness is part of what makes it feel real. That's actually what makes you feel that when they're in the muddy jungle, you are in the muddy jungle because the page looks dirty. And when they're in the nightclub and everything's clean, the page looks clean. It's like there's a whole like immersive quality to what I'm trying to do, at least in Tales of Zero. I've got a few other projects in the pipeline that will use different art style than this one, but I'm very confident in what the moves I'm making with this book artistically, you know. And I'm very excited to kind of like be maybe a first person to get in on this idea that, you know, what if when you colored, you didn't stay in the lines?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
like
I
it
don't stay in
sounds
lines.
stupid.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid. Like, well, that's not very original, actually. That itself is a cliche, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, all the Photoshop filters and presets and the how-to videos of coloring on YouTube have like resulted in a style that's very samey. Everything looks the same
Very
because
true.
everyone uses the same filters, everyone uses the same color palettes, and everyone uses the same house style. I mean, the house style at Marvel and DC was, you know, John Byrne at Marvel and Jose Garcia Lopez at DC. I mean, wow, what a beautiful era that was.
Yeah, it
Now
was
the house,
fresh. Yeah.
now the house style at DC or Marvel, it all looks the same. It just looks
Yeah.
like these kind of like, I don't know what they are. They're like pamphlets, informational pamphlets. And again, I'm not putting down the artist because the artist who got that gig, I mean, I'd be psyched if my phone rang and Marvel wanted me to draw. I'd be so psyched. So it's the corporation that wants that house style. It's not that these artists aren't really good. I know when I'm looking at some of these big 2 books, the artist is being told, you know, draw that like this, or the artist is saying like, you have 2 weeks and this is what we're paying you. And it's like, well, in 2 weeks, all I can do is draw this. So I'm in no way putting down the artists, but I could pull 5 big 2 books off the rack and they all have that samey art style right now. And it's just, to me, it is so unexciting. And combined with the lettering with that all the same font, uppercase, lowercase, and these goofy bubbles, it's just like, what am I reading here? This is like, it lacks verve. You know, it's just lays there on the page, and I can't figure it out. But again, it's a corporation. They're doing what they want to do. This is not. So again, I in no way am I trying to put down these artists. If I had that gig and I could draw the X-Men, or if it was my buddy, I would be patting them on the back and saying, amazing, dude.
Sure.
Right. So I'm not putting down the artist, but I just feel like the whole medium right now is kind of, I would say, and I'm talking about like the corporate side of the medium, the corporate produce side of it just seems like it's in a luff, you know, the sails are flapping, but the boat's not moving. Whereas here in the indie world, you're seeing new talent all the time, new styles all the time, new things you haven't seen before all the time. So this is where it's at. You know, a cliche that I say on my show all the time is that I was 11 in 86, and there was a huge indie comics boom that year. And I remember I bought all those titles, and I have a lot of them. I'm going to start doing my own like comics kayfabe show, you know, like Ed Piskor does. Except I'm just going to do like books from '86 by publishers that aren't DC and Marvel.
Oh,
I could go for months. There's so many. And they're so interesting, and the art styles are different, and there's so many lessons to be learned from them, because that was a huge indie boom that happened that year, and I just happened to be there. So I feel like a lot of people I talk to don't even know about that. You know, Don Chin, that's when he was, you know, doing the hamster. And I bought the hamsters right off the rack. I bought it right off the rack in '86. I bought the 3D one with the Star Wars cover. I was 11, and I read it 1,000 times. So like that was a huge indie boom. You know, it was great, and I feel like what we're seeing right now has the potential to be even better than that was. But you know what, you were saying something earlier that reminded me of this indie boom, the one I'm thinking of, the '86 one.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It was like what you're talking about, why Image is called indie today. Yeah. Okay. So you were saying, you know, what we're doing in the crowdfunding world is indie, but then these other things that are called indie, they're just a corporation that has a smaller budget or something, right? And I think you're talking about like Boom, Vault,
and I
Horse.
guess the crucial. Oh, we got Matt Reese in the chat. He's gonna.
Oh, Matt, awesome. Good to see you, bud.
He's gonna tell me. He's gonna be in my DM telling me that I'm wrong. And he has a right to, because I've walked this back a bit. Like technically, I get like with the way the word is used in comics, you know, Image is indie in the sense, like, because we do mean that does legitimately mean it's smaller than DC, and that you're and that you own your own copyright to your story, and that's enough to call it indie.
But I could say something.
on the
I could
street
say something.
feeling.
I could say something right now. I'm gonna try to hold my fire. Okay, but all right. Let me say
Yeah.
something about Dark Horse.
Hmm.
I think the issue is that like Dark Horse and a lot of these companies, if you could see the books they were publishing in '86, you would know why people call them indie today. So I
Okay.
love this book back in '86 called Boris the Bear. I'm like the only person in the world who loves it and remembers it. It was published by Dark Horse,
Hmm.
and it was about a teddy bear with an Uzi and a samurai sword. And
Wow.
he had a really negative attitude and was really sarcastic, and he would go through different comic book tropes and just destroy them. And he had like a human owner who was always trying to bail him out of trouble. And it was a comedy book, and it was a send up of comic tropes of the day. So I think the first issue was called Boris the Bear Kills the Turtles. The second one was called like Boris the Bear Hates Transformers. And the art style was like, I mean, I show you those books and you're going to see, oh, Dark Horse was indie. Oh,
Yeah.
Dark Horse was indie. Oh, okay. You see, like, so back then
Yeah.
they really were indie, you know?
Well, in the late '90s, when I knew about Dark Horse, they're just putting out Star Wars and
Hmm.
Aliens, which
Yep.
is great, but
Yep.
it's just licensed product. Like I don't think of, normally I wouldn't think of indie. Like that's not a term I use for
Yeah.
just
To someone
a
else, yeah,
licensed
corporate
publisher.
IPs. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And it's funny, I used to hear people bag on Dark Horse Star Wars all the time. Not anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's
Yeah,
beloved.
we
It's
had
funny how those
something.
standards have changed, right?
It
It's all of
wasn't
a
good
sudden
enough.
like,
Yeah.
whoa, man, how good it was. And I actually have the Dark Horse adaptation of The Phantom Menace. It's great.
I
It's
bet.
better than the movie. It's better than the movie.
Yeah.
Like because you don't hear the stupid voices. Like the voice acting in the Phantom Menace was half the problem. If they
Oh
made
yeah.
Jar Jar
It's
Binks like
at least
have a
half.
low voice and a resonant, really cool Jamaican accent, and he was like, Obi-Wan, come on there, I'm gonna show you what's going on, and he was like
Oh my
cool.
gosh, that's great. Yeah.
Imagine if he was cool and competent and like had a cool voice.
Hmm.
He could have been the greatest character. And the Nemodians. I mean, I saw. Oh man, we're going off on many tangents, but I
He's
was
great.
horrified. I was horrified when I saw the Phantom Menace because I was living in a neighborhood, and all my neighbors were Jamaican, and I thought they're gonna have problems with this.
Yeah.
This was not a good choice on their part to
Yeah.
make
It
this
was.
guy faux
I
Caribbean
remember.
but also incompetent. Like, why not make
Yeah.
him faux Caribbean and competent, right? Was that
Yeah,
so
that was
hard?
pretty controversial. Like
Yeah.
I can feel like that kind of got memory hold, but
Yeah.
people were clapping back pretty fast.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I was displeased with their choice on that one. But then, of course, you find out
Yeah.
the story of Ahmed Best and what a really cool guy he is,
Yeah.
and how like where his heart was at in the performance. I mean,
Hmm.
back in those days, I didn't even know it was a person. I thought the whole person was CGI. I had
Hmm.
no idea
Hmm.
there was a person there. So it's like don't be quick to hate. Ahmed Best is a great guy, and he really put his heart into that character. So it's again, just
Yeah.
kind of like the artists I was saying that they were told by corporate what to do, just the same way Ahmed Best was told, no, talk like this, no, walk like this. He was doing what he was told. So
Yeah.
you
Oh
can't
yeah.
fault him for that.
By the
All
way, I
right.
just looked up Boris the Bear,
Mm-hmm.
and issue 1 has him assassinating Usagi Yojimbo.
Yes, it's
Like
really
execution
amazing.
style with a
Yes.
Glock.
Yes.
I don't understand.
It's really funny. It's like mid '80s humor. It's like mid '80s college student humor. It's the same
Wow.
humor that the hamsters used. The hamsters was the same kind of thing. It was
Yeah.
like it's like
It's
a
so
send-up.
funny. And see Dark Horse, there's the label up in the top left.
Yep,
And
it was
like
great.
it's like a colored pencil maybe
Yeah, and it's really
cover.
indie, isn't it? It's really kind of
It's
homemade
amazing.
looking, right?
Oh, I love it.
It's super homemade and it's great. It's really
Yeah.
fun. I have the one with the Transformers. It's hilarious because
That's
he ends
great.
up like going to a comic book convention and they have all these like different mecha there and he's like, I hate robots. Don't leave me with the freaking robots. And of course and then the robots hate him.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, and so he gets hunted down by like a Gundam in one scene, all the different like iconic robots try to hunt him down. And then what does he
Wow.
do? He gets a magic can opener blessed by the spirit of Jack Kirby. And he like fires a beam from the magic can opener to defeat the robots, I believe is the plot.
This was legal? This is amazing. This was actually printed for money, and they didn't get the pants suit off of them. This is amazing. Care Bears get killed.
I know I'm the only one who...
guy.
Cerebus. I'm the only one who like holds a torch for Boris the Bear, except maybe Dungeon. Yeah, but again, that was Dark Horse, and there was First. First had the first. They were really good. I've got a bunch of their books from '86. They were so good. And I'm going to do a review of some of those comics and show like what was cool about them. Mike Grell did. John Sable. And his art is amazing. But I think if people looked at the Mike Grell, they'd be like, well, why did he leave the cross hatching right in the middle of somebody's face? Yeah. And I'm like, well, I grew up reading that. So then when you look at Tales of Zero and you're like, well, why did you leave the cross hatching right on somebody's face? I'm like, oh, duh, because the stuff I grew up reading looked that way. I don't know. I mean, so it's just funny how standard, what people are used to, And you look at Sienkiewicz, and you see the amount of grit. He has so much grit in his work where there's like just a smudge. This thing overlaps this thing. This line just goes right across this thing, and oh my god, I love it. So I've got a lot of that too. I'm found this way to like add dirt to a scene. I'm just like add dirt, add lint. Make it look like a piece of film that's got lint stuck on it. Oh yeah. So I'm just having a ball with that, with Tales of Zero, making it like a film that's been in the can for 40 years and it's degraded, and the colors have like run into weird directions, and this piece is missing from the film, and this frame is off kilter.
What do you think of the White Knight illustrator?
Oh, Jesse. I think, is that what you mean, Jesse, who's doing Deus Vult? Murphy. Oh, White Knight. See, I'm thinking of Jesse White, because he's a company name is White Knight Illustration, I think. Sean Murphy, I don't know much about him. He seems like a really talented guy.
Well, because I think of like he's bringing in the whole using his thumbprint.
Oh, is he?
Put like a 5 o'clock shadow on his characters, like his.
Well, then I think that's awesome. I think stuff like that is cool.
Yeah, I dig that. Like it's still like he's arguably, I don't know, like he makes me read Batman. Like like his stuff is so incredible, and there is a bit kind of an indie flair just because it's not he's coming in with a style that isn't wheelhouse style, I guess. So I just call it indie because it's not wheelhouse.
Yeah, well, he got the green light to kind of build his own sub-universe, so that gives you a lot of freedom. Something that I've loved from the big two in the last year is The Green Lantern by Sharp and Morrison. Holy cow, if you haven't read that, it's so good. Hey, I think we've got a new guest in the chat. Good day, sir. I'm sure you've been busy.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
Good, how are you?
I kind of messed up the schedule, so sorry about that. I thought this was about to go live in about an hour, so I just checked and I was like, oh man.
No, you don't understand. I'm a little bit psychic, okay? I need to tell you that. And I'm so pleased to have you on my show, because my psychic sense tells me that you're going to be hard to book in 2 years.
I don't know about that.
My psychic sense tells me that sketch cards from you for $50 will not exist in 2 years, that they will cost more. So I'm really excited. I think you're a really dynamic person, and your art is amazing, and I just feel like there's a huge future for your artistic sensibilities and what you're doing. And so I'm glad that you're on my show. You don't have to be on time, okay?
All that's well, thanks man, thanks a lot. And
you'll see.
Speaking of style, well, Matt here was the first one to have trust in me and actually hired me for doing something for Wild Tales of KYRIE. Have you seen that book?
Well, that's what we're supposed to be talking about. That's what we're. But this guy, he won't even shill his own book. I'm the same way, by the way. I get talking to creative.
God, that is so funny.
See, I get
Really
on with
unusual.
creative people, and I never shill my own book because I get so into talking about ideas. So I think, Matt, you and I are similar in that way. That like once we're talking about ideas, I don't have time to shill my book because I'm just into the ideas, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so
I launched
tell us about that.
I launched on Shay's stream, and she was so mad with Matt because she said like, "Oh,
no.
did he just made a soft launch?" Because nobody in the audience, I believe, even knew that you were launching. So I try to rally as much people as possible, Matt. So I'm doing my part.
I'll make it up to Shay. I'll stop by next week if she'll have me. I just kind of went with it. You know how it goes. I mean, you understand, Jose. Like you just build this stuff up for weeks and weeks, and then at some point, I mean, both of you guys understand. Then at some point, you're like, totally. I'm never going to click this button unless I click it right now.
Yes, of course. Yep.
Yeah,
well, Jose, when I go on Shay, I want you there with me, okay?
Yeah, for sure, man.
So that when I'm talking, you'd be like, "Yeah, but Smurf, let's talk about your book again." Smurf, Tales of Zero. Because I'm the same way. I get so into like talking about the guest or talking about this idea, and then I'm like, "Oh, an hour went by. I haven't even mentioned Tales of Zero. Aren't I funding right now?" But again, like the idea is that I've already reached my goal. I know that the backers who are with me now will get their book, and then that's step one. Is you just got to hit that base hit, and then when that happens, we'll get into the next book. My next book is actually a caveman book, and my artist on that is from Mexico as well.
Nice.
And he's another one that I predict will do amazing things. And he did the book Otis Stein. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, he drew that. Yeah, I like his art.
Oh my God, I think this guy is a genius. And so Carlos.
With Matt Reese too, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So Carlos Rodriguez, he's doing a caveman book for me, and we have over half the art done. Cool. It's a one shot.
Nice.
So when Tales of Zero is fulfilled, I'm going to launch the caveman book, and it's a one shot. And so it will be pretty easy to sell and ship. It's already the work is done. The art team is going to be fully paid. So that's going to be right on the heels of the fulfillment of Tales of Zero. And so I just always have a book in the pipeline, so that when one is fulfilled, the next one hits, and then I just hope that by the end of a year, people are like, "Oh, I'm ready for Tales of Zero 2. When's that coming?" As opposed to saying like, "Oh, Tales of Zero, wait a year." So I've got these smaller projects percolating, and that's it. But we were saying earlier, the proof is in the reader's experience. Until they've like sat down and lost themselves in your world, it's all talk.
Yes,
that's the moment. Sure. That's the moment when the rubber meets the road, And so I'm very confident in my story's ability to do that for the reader, to give them that magic,
Tell me a little bit about more about Tales of Zero. I only heard that a little bit. I only heard a little bit.
Best guest to have.
Yeah, man. For sure, yeah. Tell me.
Well, I think I will. I like
already
on my show.
He's outclassing me. It's great.
Oh man, what's I'm the same as you. I don't even show my book at all. I just like get into talking about cool ideas. All right, I'm going to put something about my campaign up on the screen. Let's do this. I know how to do this.
As you do that, can I just encourage you? Like, so there's two products that you're selling at the same time. It's a layer cake.
Oh, tell me.
And you know this better than I do because you're running a better show than I could run. And it's
maybe
you're doing a YouTube show, which is a product.
Mm-hmm.
You're entertaining people with interesting content. And then beneath that is your campaign, which is a separate product. And if people learn to trust you as an entertaining kind of dialoguer, and someone who's neat to hang out with, that's that human level trust that translates into storytelling trust, I think. So you've got that, and you'll continue to do that as long as you do these shows.
Well, thank you very much. I agree with you. And I also think one thing that I think my brand as an internet persona is starting to be is that when artists come on my show, like I give them space to just feel safe, relax, and just chill. Like there's not going to be a drama bomb. I'm not going to be like, "Oh, but I heard you were feuding with Nancy." Well, I don't know. Nancy said that Billy was mad at you. And it's just like, that's not happening on my show. You know what I mean? And so people don't have to worry that like if they come on my show, they're it's some part of some feud that's going on, because I'm not about that, and I'm not going to be about that. But that doesn't mean that people who are involved in feuds can't come on my show. Like, but we're just not going to talk about that. It's like you have to have a book that's interesting and be fun to talk to, and once that, I mean, you're pretty much in at that point. Like, everybody deserves a chance to be heard, and even people I don't like might make a great comic. So let's make it about the comics. Nobody has to like everybody, but if it's a good book and the storytelling's there, and they're, let's have at it. Let the customers decide. But anyway, about Tales of Zero, Jose, I know you're doing such a good job keeping me on track. So Tales of Zero, in a nutshell, is like Indiana Jones meets Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's watch the trailer.
Yes.
How you like that?
That's very cool, man.
Excellent.
All right, thanks. So basically, the setup of the story is we have our storyteller is named Zero. So here he is, and here he is lounging in his library with a glass of this juice that he drinks, and he's writing kind of his memoirs. And he says, I bet you're wondering how I lost my left hand. Well, let me tell you how it all went down. So he tells this story about how he was a construction worker on this mining colony. And when they were building the colony, they got the construction workers addicted to this juice, which is a synthetic stimulant that would make them work insanely long hours without getting tired and take insane risks without being afraid. So they were able to exploit the labor with the juice, build the colony very quickly. But then when the colony was complete, they just kind of had no work for the workers, and they became kind of bums. And the side effect of the juice was that if you stopped drinking it, you would age rapidly. So it kept you young, but it also would age you. So here we see them later in the book when they're running from the monster in the jungle. They have their juice, and they both take a big swig of the juice, and you see how they become younger.
Nice.
So they use this juice, So basically, they're hanging out in this this nightclub. These two construction workers who are looking for odd jobs to get their juice money, and they meet this young kid who's never left the mining colony. He was born on the colony, so he's never seen the outside. Mm-hmm. And he's a kid who is a misfit amongst all the people who were born on the colony. He actually wants to get dirty. He wants to see real things. He's not happy with the synthetic life. So Zero senses the opportunity and says, well, I know of this place we could go in the jungle where they have this treasure, What if we went and sought for that, and we get the juice money and you get your adventure? So that's the setup of the story. So the kid has the money to buy the equipment they need to do the thing. So then they all head out into the jungle together, and as you can just probably imagine, things don't go to plan. And they encounter a cosmic horror, and this cosmic horror wants to eat them.
I love those cosmic horrors.
Yeah, so it basically, and it's a send-up of a story by Clark Ashton Smith. So Clark Ashton Smith wrote the story. It was called The Tale of Satampra Zeros. And so I took his premise, in which he had this sort of lying storyteller thief who starts out in a tavern and then gets drunk enough with his buddy to try to steal this artifact from the idol, from the ancient temple, and then gets chased by the slime monster. So I just took those story beats and then did a diesel punk remix on it, changing the world building, changing this, changing that. But I'm keeping the credit, calling it Tales of Zero and calling my guy Zero, which is sort of an homage to him. But I'm giving Clark Ashton Smith the story credit, and sort of like laying out the groundwork. So in this is our standard cover, and the art is by Elliot Rodriguez from Peru, and I just think it's an awesome piece where he's got the idol, the golden frog that he wants to steal. And then behind him is the monster, but the monster is just negative space. You see that? So that's not actually what the monster looks like. And the reason is because the monster has no form. The monster is completely amorphous. It can become any shape it needs to be. If it needs an arm, it grows an arm. If it needs a tentacle, it grows a tentacle. So it's what you would call in H.P. Lovecraft a shuggoth.
Yes.
So and Clark Ashton Smith and H.P. Lovecraft were devoted friends and pen pals. And so Clark Ashton Smith created the god Tsathoggua in this story. And then H.P. Lovecraft would go and put Tsathoggua in his stories. So I think that he put the shuggoth in the Temple of Tsathoggua, but that's getting into Lovecraftian detail. But anyway, so here we have the variant cover by Pablo Romero, which I tried to emulate the kind of RPG box art from the 80s. If you can picture what role-playing modules looked like in the 80s of sci-fi RPGs, and also PC video games from the day. So we tried to emulate that, even down to like the worn textures. And I'm really proud of this dog. Let me see if I can zoom in on this dog. Look at the texture that we got onto this dog. Look at this.
I love the mess on the table, man.
You see it? And you see like how it looks dirty there?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like something that you left in your backpack and it got smudged and it got dented, and so the whole book has this weathered feel, like the book itself is an artifact. Now this is a wraparound cover which we're doing for the black and white, and this was drawn by an artist named Brett Cantrell. He's from Texas. He has got a totally unique, super old school style, and even in this picture you can't see all the detail in this, but every line is hand inked. It's almost like his style is a lot like Gil Kane, if you would. It's like almost late golden age, late silver age. And so he drew me this super pulp cover, where they're like the thing's grown 5 heads, and I just loved it. So we're going to do this as a wraparound for a black and white edition. And then once we launched, he actually told me he would draw me an ashcan. So I wrote him a 20-page script.
Wow.
We're going to have a 20-page ashcan with his art style, which is different. And then it's going to be we're calling it Tales of Zero side quest. And I have on my website, I have on my YouTube, me reading the entire script with sound effects and music. So if you want to know what the ashcan is, you can, when you're in your commute and you're driving to work or whatever, just put it on. It's 17 minutes and it's very much in the same style, the 1930s pulp style. It's a little more in Robert E. Howard style than Clark Ashton Smith or Lovecraft style. But, this is just a send up of the 30s pulp authors, and it's basically fun. I say to people, there's like superheroes is good versus evil or whatever, but the genre of Tales of Zero is the genre called adventure. And adventure is just people versus circumstance. Do you know what I mean? So like people get themselves into trouble. Like Zero should never have thought it was a good idea to bring this young kid into the jungle, like who's never been outside. He was outmatched. He didn't really know what he was doing, So it's like that, but now you see him when he's recollecting, he's telling you about this adventure he did in the past. So he's regaling you with his adventures. But the funny thing, or the thing that the reader finds out near the very end of the book, is that Zero is the quintessential unreliable narrator. So when you reach the last 4 pages, some information is accidentally slipped that makes you question everything that he told you.
That's engaging, man.
You know what I mean? Where you're like, wait, but you said this happened and I remember it differently. So then you go back and you're like, holy shit, he lied about that part. That's not what happened. This is, and I kind of left enough breadcrumbs that you can figure that out. And then that really sets up the next book, because you realize that's the kind of the hallmark of a Zero story, is that you get the story, then he leaves you just enough room to work out the difference between what really happened and what he wanted you to believe happened. So that's that fun of the unreliable narrator. So Zero, that's why I said, Matt, when you get to the last page of this, you're gonna put it down and just say, wait, what ride did I just go on? Because the ride was good, but then the epilogue made you say, wait, what? And so that's the fun part of it. I consider Zero, he's like the Han Solo without the heart of gold. Like he's a scoundrel, he's a thief, but he's actually also kind of a jerk and actually legitimately selfish. Yeah. So like at the end of the story, you're like, oh my God, he's an asshole. And he kind of, the mask slips right at the end. And you realize, well, of course he made himself look good. He was the storyteller, So, but you kind of wonder what the next story is going to be. So I have like the next 5 roughly outlined, and I figured we could do one of these a year for a while. Just take it easy, there's time. But anyway, that's Tales of Zero. It's literally just an adventure story. It's fun. It's entertainment. Like back in the day, if you walked into a room and cable TV was on and Raiders of the Lost Ark was on, and you sat down and said, "Oh, I'm just going to watch a little bit of it," you know what happened, Jose? You watched the whole thing.
Yes,
You
for
watched the
sure,
whole
man.
damn thing. And then the Alien was the same way, or Aliens. I remember literally being with a friend of mine. We were doing something, and oh, Aliens is on. Let's just watch this one part. Nope. Watch the whole damn thing. Right, and so that's exactly what I want Tales of Zero to be. It's not the most profound work on the face of the earth, but it's darn entertaining, and like you will want to read it again. You want to read it a few times. You want to like have your buddy read it so you can compare like how you thought it went versus how he thought it went. So it's just literally an adventure story that's fun. Fun adventure.
That was a great pitch, man.
Thank you. It's like,
and you don't want to show your book, man.
Oh man! I mean, that.
No, come on! You guys are being way too kind. I mean,
no. I mean,
already
like there's the story that you're shilling so well, but you just told us you took us on an adventure. You know what I mean? Like as you're describing it.
Thank you so much. Well, you definitely need to listen to my you definitely need to listen to my little radio show of the ash can story, because I really, if you like my storytelling, it's a great one. I had a ball writing it, and it's just the same amount of like, it's kind of a stock plot line that you can figure out, but it's so fun to watch it all work out. You know,
it's on your channel. I'll just go find the playlist.
Yeah. I can pull it up real quick and show it to you. Now we need to talk KYRIE, you know. But anyway, and also Luminavox too. You know, since we have the three of us here, like, let's just run down all our books. Oh, you know what, Jose? I'm going to leave you and Matt in charge for a minute, because I have a little kiddo and I just hear her calling. So, can you share your screen right now, Matt, or do you guys want to wrap?
Absolutely.
All right, you just wrap. I'll be back in about 4 minutes.
For sure, man.
Bye.
Well, actually, I don't know. He may. I don't know if I can share screen without him hitting.
Are you boomerang out, Matt? Well, that happens to me too a lot. You just need to hit the share.
Click me to share. I don't think he's going to click me.
Oh yeah. Oh man, KYRIE is doing great. I've been kind of seeing the backers from Lumina, the backers from Wild Tales, and we were tied on the very first day, man. And we were like, we were like right there, like 50, and then I believe we end up at like 56, and man, that was intense. And you weren't doing any shilling, man. And I was out there just going on streams, and you just quietly just push the button and you just obliterate me.
Yeah. Well, part of it is I like one of my it's a strength and a weakness. Like I don't know, like I really love streams, but I'm just not great. I just want to hang out with people, and I have trouble just like talking about just like pumping it. So that's a weakness. But also like as you know, like I paid everyone ahead of time.
Yeah.
With profits from the last campaign. So I just like it's already paid for, you know what I mean? Like I just have to pay for printing. I don't have to pay for the colorist because I'm doing it and all that sort of thing.
Your colors are killer, man.
Thanks. I mean it's amazing inks, so I can't.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I say wrong. Like bad colors can't hurt good inks. Like when the inks are good, everything's good. Whereas like good colors can't save bad inks.
Yeah.
That's words to live by in my world. You know what I mean? Good colors can't save bad inks, but man, good inks, they really make the colorist's job a dream. You know, it's like so good.
Speaking of good inks, I'll share this and then I might skip out.
All right, yeah, tell me what you. No. I may have another guess, but you got it. You got to at least tell us about a little bit, because you said, or you also need to come back on, because you told us you were going to give us strategies on your second year at crowdfunding. So this is going to have to be to be continued, because we had just so much fun talking.
Well, I'd like that, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I think I need to be taking notes from you, honestly.
Gosh, that's not true. That's not true. I'm motivated because I have everything to prove.
Also, don't leave on my account. I'm actually not here to promote anything.
Oh man,
Hey.
What's
yeah,
up?
oh man, Dillard.
What's
Yeah.
going on, guys?
Oh man, we're just having
Can't
a
miss
fun.
the little curl up at the end of every sentence. I like that.
Yeah. Well,
I
but
can't.
I did it.
I can't even draw today. I've been like, like hammering and staple gunning stuff, and like my hands are like crab hands right now. I can't really do anything.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
fine. That's fine. I'm the only one drawing. I'm the only one drawing. All right. So Matt, do you really have to go? Because I think you should at least give us something about the world building of your book, how the concept came to you, what we can expect in Wild Tales. Just give us a
I
little
can
bit.
do that.
All right, give us a little bit. Do you want me
Yeah,
to share
so-
anything visually while you do it?
Yeah, I'm sharing my
Okay.
screen for the Indiegogo campaign.
Nope.
The
So-
Wild Tales of KYRIE.
Yeah. So basically, over 2020, I fulfilled 2 campaigns for my comics, and they look like, if it'll load, it's a 3rd century North African Roman adventure. Running from Alexandria all the way to the west coast of Africa. We're doing fun things, so it's like a frontier story where Empire meets the wilds, where the law breaks down, and where people on the edge of society, exiles and bandits and ne'er-do-wells can get rich quick and maybe avoid the authorities, and it's also where a lot of ancient evils are buried in the sands of Egypt, and so the Empire is interested in it's in the decline part of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, the 3rd century, and so this empire's interested in trying to figure out how it can revive itself, and so it's digging in the Indiana Jones-esque style.
Yeah, awesome.
For a supernatural means of resurrecting itself, and some people on the edge of that society are having to band together to race to stop it. So that's the KYRIE story. So it's 280 pages so far. You can get it on this campaign. I always have everything up. But so while I'm working on that, I thought I would hire some other artists who do incredible work to tell some anthology tales, like Dark Horse's Tales from the Cantina and stuff like that. That's kind of what I grew up with,
Nice.
Star Wars type stuff.
Yeah, awesome.
So I just kind of found amazing artists, and I figured out. I tried to say, okay, Jose Garcia, what do you like drawing? I can see that you like drawing a lot of fun textures and fabrics and plants, and you're really good with action. Maybe I can give you a story that has almost no dialogue whatsoever. It's just choreographing of a bunch of Indian assassins chasing down one of the main characters from this story, and fun adventure stuff ensues. Or we've got amazing this Ukrainian artist, Kaden Rauk is her name on Twitter, and she does like a lot more realistic style, which is really cool. And so I said, let's give you a Japanese assassin works with a turncoat to stop a Soviet train from stealing this a dragon from Japan and bringing it back to St. Petersburg and taking over the world from St. Petersburg. So
the connecting link
stop that.
between that and the KYRIE universe is supernatural artifacts for power, or is it there doesn't have to be a connecting link between the universes?
Yeah, it's always that, and then it's always there's this female character. Her name is Myra. You can see her at the top here. She's about to get almost smashed by this assassin. she's traipsing about the world with this little kid who she's training up to be the next assassin, and they are trying to find. They're touching each of these stories in their own timeline.
Okay,
And,
in their own timeline.
in
Got
1904, Russia, like they're dealing with the consequences of this. Here she is pretending to be a famous charioteer, and she's trying to sabotage it. Here is another story where we're in Afghanistan in 1880, and Dr. Watson of Sherlock and Watson team up. He teams up with two characters from The Man Who Would Be King by Rudyard Kipling, and they have to stop these Sikh lancers from. They're going to break into a mausoleum of a famous Afghan king and steal his diamond nose. That diamond nose is something that Myra has come in contact with in her lifetime too. So and it just keeps going. So and it's kind of a sequel in a way to the story that I'm telling with my own art. Here's some more amazing Jose Garcia art.
Oh my God! Yes, see that gets me excited.
Incredible
From across the room. I'm just like, yes, that.
Yeah,
that was really fun to draw, man.
Yeah, and I can't wait to. I mean, just the other pages. Like,
is there going to be a time skip, man, between the book 2 and 3?
No, and that's what's going to be fun. So, Jose, you got to draw for me this character about 15 years later.
Yeah.
When she's older and when she's kind of maybe not past. She's looking at the edge of her abilities and realizing that things are kind of drawing to a close. And as good as she is at what she does, life is short for everybody, and so there's going to be immediate consequences to this sort of things that are playing out here. And that kind of foreshadows back to the story I'm drawing, where you're going to see these are the first of these supernatural instances that she's bumping up against, and so that's why she's on this sort of quest, and that's why you're getting these weird stories about Himiko, the first ruler of Japan, who united Japan with a dragon, and somehow mysteriously Himiko dies along with her dragon, but now it's being resurrected, so you get to find out, and Himiko lived in the mid 3rd century, and so did Myra, and so did this little kid. So, and here's the cover with Myra slaying the dragon. Man. So it's all kind of like, I thought it'd be fun to as I'm working on KYRIE, to just kind of give people something where you're seeing, the future version of this character, but she keeps dealing with the fallout of the main story. And so that kind of and it doesn't really spoil the main story, but it lets you know oh, okay, so this is kind of, it's going to contextualize it a bit more, and you can say, oh, I really can't wait to see. Now it makes the main story like a prequel, which is really fun, where you can say, now I get to see what she deals with when she didn't even know this was happening. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And here's the ash can. This is how ignorant I am. I didn't know an ash can was supposed to be black and white.
I don't know either. I don't know what's an ash can either, man.
Yeah, I just thought it's like, okay,
just change the rule book, man. Change the rule book.
Yeah. So this is full color, but it's.
Oh, mine is going to be color too, so don't worry.
Oh,
mine
good.
Is gonna be color too,
yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. So. Anyway, yeah, and it's just $15 for both the ash can and the main story. That's 56 pages together, and we've got a holographic cover for $5 more.
I would do that.
Would you say that is a good jumping point for new readers?
Yes. Oh, and that's another thing. So I was trying to give people more action. My art style is weird, so I tried to find people that people can relate to more, where they can say oh, of course I love that art style. Of course I love Jose Garcia's art. So
Mhm.
it's easier for them to go in for that. And all the short stories, you don't have to know anything. Like I tell you a complete, I give you like an in media res in a
Yep.
way,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like a lot of good short stories are. Like like watching like a Hitchcock Presents kind of short story.
Exactly. Yeah, you can get
But
into it.
it's something. Yeah, you don't have to read the books to understand any of the stories. So and lastly, I have like this is like I try to do something weird once every campaign to just kind of test things out and see if people really
Mhm.
like it. So I'm doing like a decoder ring kind of deal,
Oh,
which is also like the container that the diamond nose of the Afghan key
oh.
is in the story. So you get to see it in the story, and then you get to own
Then you
one for
have it. You
yourself.
get to own one. Oh, I might steal
Yeah.
something like that because
Oh,
my
please do it.
my hero always is looking for an artifact or whatever. So you're right. What a
Mhm.
fun idea that you have
Yeah,
like the
just it's
artifact
the
from the
Indiana
book
Jones thing.
in a little like fan version that they can hold and put on a shelf. That's a great idea.
How
Mhm.
did you make those?
I I reached out. Well, at first, there's a lot of people on Etsy who will print things for like $1 an hour, and then I had a guy make these, and then I like hand painted it to kind of look like copper patina, and then that guy fell through. He's just like this high school kid from Ohio that was making them for me, and then he was like, "I gotta focus on my SATs," so I found someone else
Darn
on
right,
Twitter.
kid. You're darn right. Put
Yeah,
down the
I
3D
know.
printer and hit the books.
Yeah, priority. I was like, that's fine. You do you. But you probably have some success with this, Jose, if you did it. Like you just say like, anyone know anyone who does 3D printing on Twitter, and you'll get like 12 responses, and one of them's going to be great. So that's currently how I found my current guy. So
That's awesome,
Nice.
man.
Yeah, I might
Yeah,
need to
so-
get into that for future campaigns. Have some artifacts. That's such a cool idea.
yeah, it's never been easier to make a comic and
Yeah.
to crowdfund it. Like it's really
Yeah.
never been easier to 3D print.
That's true. That's true.
Like you
right,
can get it done if you can figure out how to sell it for a profit of more than $1 an hour. And this
Yeah.
took it all depends, and it's going to have to be something that actually can be printed. You can't
Yeah.
really do little miniature figurines for anything reasonable unless you
Yeah.
have like a 6-figure campaign.
And
Mhm.
those
But-
are limited, right? Like 10. How many did you do?
Yeah, well, I was gonna just do 20, and those sold out too fast. So
Oh, yeah,
I
for
doubled
sure.
it, and then I talked to the printer guy, and he was okay with that. So I think I have 3 left here, and then there's 3 left to pre-launch people who got it for a couple dollars off if they
Nice.
signed up for the pre-launch. So I think we have 6 left, and then I do kind of have to cut it off because it'll be it's not just the decoder ring. It also, I mean, it decodes, but it specifically it decodes. Like you unroll this little scroll, and in the scroll is a code and a key, right, for the decoder ring, and you line up the key, and then you decode my code, and that code gives you that basically is the discount code for all future KYRIE campaigns.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
now you pay a little more, but it's going to pay for itself. Like it literally pays for itself because now you're going to get cheaper all my other stuff from now on, which I think is fun. So every time you see me launch, you can just dust off the decoder ring, and you can and I'll give you the code, and you can be like, oh, I unlocked it, like and then you get a discount. So I thought that's fun. Like now you get, it's called Rubicon Club because you like crossing the Rubicon. You're committed, right? So you get a cool koozie, you get a patch, you get a couple.
The patch is great, man.
Yeah, so that's, and I'm trying to do the swag. That's another thing I learned with that's like a sophomore thing. I think like a lot of times you throw a lot of extra swag because you're like, I don't know. I was feeling desperate in 2020, so I was like, I'll give you posters, I'll give you bookmarks, and a lot of times people like, it's a nice touch, but then they throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
So like maybe it might not be a bad idea to offer people a cheaper version that's just the book, and most
Yeah.
people will like that. And then if they want swag, they can opt in for the swag,
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
and that gives them that option. It's really about it's more freedom to the customer, and it's more cost effective for you. So it's a win-win instead of just
Right.
paying for all this stuff and then 9 out of 10 people don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
no, of course, yeah. All right, well, this is I think you're pretty good at pitching your book. Do you think, Jose? I think you did a good job.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and all the
Yeah.
swag and all this stuff, man. I don't know how people are not jumping into the Rubicon. I will when I last checked, it was sold out, but I might get one mine. It sounds like a lot of fun. Just having to decode this. It will be cool if well, I know this will be a chore, but it will be cool if there's like a deadline and people are like struggling to be the first one to get and super a special code that only one people can figure out first. That will be a
Oh,
cool
wow.
idea.
Oh, competition. Oh,
Yeah, a
that's
little
Well, that's
like
true, though.
100.
Yeah, once they have the ring, they can decode future messages, right? Because it's like a cipher. Or
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
I didn't think about only offering it. Well, it's like you never want to punish your backers, but maybe a death match for the discount code. It's not out of the question.
Yeah. You said some drama is good. I remember.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I made my bed.
Words to live
Gotta
by.
learn it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's Wild Tales. That's what we're doing. It's a cheaper comic than most because of the profits from last campaign. I saved it. I didn't spend it, which
Yep.
allowed me to pay Jose up front.
Yeah,
So he's already done. All
That's
his links are
the
done.
right way to do it. That's the
You
right
should
way to
screenshot your backer number and just put like I did, just like a screenshot and just with a text saying "nice."
Yeah, I saw that, and then I saw you made like $85,000, and I was like, oh, that's.
I know.
Mexican pesos.
Yeah, I was like, he hit 85,000. Man, that guy's flying.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I
man.
knew he beat me, but goodness gracious, awesome.
But I'm telling you, in 2 years from now, we're not going to be able to keep up with Jose.
Yeah,
He's going to be like
early.
85,000 USD in the 1st 4 days.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do, through the Twitterverse and through indie comics people, there's a lot of passionate and super talent in Mexico, don't you think? Like, oh my gosh! And when I'm connecting with some of those artists, because I've got a few people from Mexico that I've been in touch with, I just feel like when we were talking about ideas, it's like, oh, literature, oh, paintings, oh, this, It's just like everything, and that's how it should be, Everything influences everything. Oh, this music, oh, this painting, oh, this poem, To me, I love people who rap like that, that all the art forms are interconnected and informing one another. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what all this talent that's global, and we can all meet in the digital campfire of Twitter,
Yeah.
hang out together
Absolutely.
and see what we can build together. It's such a cool opportunity. I feel really fortunate to be part of it. I may be old, but I'm old enough to know how cool this is. I didn't grow up with this. If you were like the town I grew up in, and like you talked to someone from Peru once in your life, that would be like a life-changing experience. If you wrote a book with someone from Peru, that'd be unheard of, right? But now, no, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to have a collaborator from here and a collaborator from there. So just this part of the indie scene that we're living in right now, it's freaking fantastic.
Just like Wild Tales of KYRIE, man.
Yeah, exactly. You've got
all around
a Japanese samurai. You got the nose of the spearman. Now, I don't. Now, Matt, how is your historical breadth so, good that you can cover all these different times, places, and cultures, and know what you're talking about? Do you have a background in history, or are you just?
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a quirk. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, I graduated college and it just snapped, and I was obsessed with history. Okay. I don't know what it. I don't know. It's a problem.
Yeah. That's passion, man. That's
every
passion.
Every artist is an obsessive, right? Deep down, we're all obsessed.
Yeah.
I know I am.
Yeah.
So.
But it's fun. You find a productive way to channel that energy,
precisely.
right? You gotta tell a story with it.
You gotta tell a story with it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my
speaking
piece,
of telling
which is
crazy stories, you gotta bring up that Lumina Vox. It's
all right. Well, we got
and
10 minutes left.
But thank you
all right,
so much.
Matt. This has been great. Let's do another show where we literally just come with a bullet point, and it's literally just like lessons I learned.
Yeah,
you know,
I love the streams with Narwhal and Matt. They went along on some of the art and how it's produced and the compositions and stuff. I really love to see you more with Narwhal, Matt. I know you two guys are cooking something together, and I'm really excited
I got a
for
cowboy
that.
story.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, I love Narwhal. Narwhal's a personal inspiration to me. So,
good.
Even my name, even
nice?
the fact,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, even the fact my name, like Purple Smurf, it's like, it's a little bit inspired by him. And that, like, what I love about Narwhal is, does anybody care what Narwhal's real name is? No, because you know he's Narwhal, and you know his style, and you know when you get into his book what it's gonna. And I want to have that same thing where, like, you don't need to know my real name, you don't need to know what I look like. Once you read Tales of Hero and my next one, you're going to be like, that guy, I got it. I know when I get one of his books, it's going to have that pull, that like, I'm sucked in, and we each have our shtick, and mine is in the, it's just like, and it's like, it does not matter what my real name is, not at all, because it's about the story I'm telling, my real life is not that exciting. I remember back in the early Narwhal days, he was just like, deli lifestyle. Remember that? I love that about him. He was just like, I literally just work in a fucking deli. And I was like, dude, I respect you so hard for that.
It was very genuine.
You're not trying to be
real. Like,
it was so real. So real.
Success story of CG.
Yeah.
So I love Narwhal.
Yeah, he made it.
I'm glad you're working with him.
Full time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So good on him. He's a great guy.
Thanks. Y'all have a good night. And Dillard, I think I'll be creeping in your DMs soon.
Oh my gosh.
No, I looked through all my stuff and it looks like all next week I'm clear. So whenever you want.
Oh, cool.
Best of luck, Matt.
We'll have some fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for coming on, Matt.
Yep. See y'all.
All right. Well, let me show you my Cleopatra drawing, and then we'll talk a little Luminavox before we hang up the phone. Let me see if I can put this on. And I'm not really an artist, Jose. I'm a writer first, colorist second, and then I draw for fun.
But that's pretty good, man.
Yeah, well, I love drawing. I'm just not at a pro level, but I do storyboard all my books and do all my own layouts. So I love to draw.
That's good, man.
Yeah. All right, so tell us about Luminavox, the world, the story, the inspiration. Just give us a 10-minute dive into your world.
This is gonna be hard since I can't share my screen.
But I can share it. What do you want me to put the campaign page? I'll put it up for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, hold on. But start talking before I get there.
I think I'm just gonna give a little 10-minute pitch and then I have to jump out.
I'm done. I'm done in 10 minutes. I'm usually done. So yeah, we're good.
Awesome. So I start giving a pitch about Lumina.
Yeah. And I'll bring up the campaign page in a second. Yeah, tell us about it.
So if you like Space Eldritch Adventures, you can check out Luminavox. The way I describe it, it's like Space Eldritch Naruto meets Warhammer 40k. So it has a lot of crazy stuff around them, and it's about this girl called Mia, and she has the story begins when there's a strange cabal of these weird guys just trying to put an Eldritch god inside of her. So what happens is that the ritual goes wrong, and the planet gets destroyed, like massively destroyed, and all this Eldritch god kind of swallow all of the souls of her family and her friends and all her loved ones, and this kind of results in this situation where in the physical world you have this girl Mia, but her body is being controlled by this Eldritch god who is trying to destroy worlds just to swallow the souls of the living beings and come itself into existence. So So
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
but in the inside of her mind, Mia can see everything from within her. So she can see and interact with the Eldritch God herself, but she can go to a place where she can see the actual physical world. So the thing is that Mia is like this little child. She loved her family so much, but the thing is that with this Eldritch God destroying planets and stuff, trying to come into reality, into the physical plane. The one problem that it presents is that Mia's trying to recover her body. She's trying to recover, control of her body, but at the same time, she's trying to save the souls of her family, because all the souls that this Eldritch God swallows uh, don't really die. They kind of stay inside of its core. So every time this Eldritch God go goes in the physical world and destroys a planet and swallows the souls, that's the only time where the core opens and Mia can see her family in just a brief moments. So it's gonna be kind of this moral dilemma with Mia when she regains control of her body and kind of tries to keep control of these Eldritch God powers. She will have, this temptation of just go and swallow souls just to see her
To
family.
see her family,
Yeah,
right?
like even for 30 seconds. But the thing is that if she swallows a lot of souls, the Eldritch God inside of her will awaken, and
Yep.
it will
Yep.
kill all the souls within her, and even kill her in the process. So that's Lumina Bucks.
Wow. And it's 280 pages.
This is 80 pages.
80
This is
pages. Okay.
the first volume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I will be doing like arcs. I'm thinking more of like manga, like
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
really cool arcs. But I'm doing this kind of mixing comics and the manga format. So I will be doing kind of a limited but cool arc in 3 books. Every 3 books there's gonna be an arc. I have planned so far like 4 or 5. And this is one of my smaller projects because I do have a ton more coming up. I actually have my next book finished,
Oh my
called
gosh.
Ginger Luna. Yep, that's the one that it's a 280-page book, and
Oh, okay. Okay.
that's already finished, and that's a monster survival story. It's gonna be cool.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is so good. Well, I'm going to tell everybody, is there a limit on this sketch card here?
No, man. I'm gonna be drawing every day, so it's cool. Like we have like 58 days to go, and just when I wake up, I draw like 2 or 3. So I'm gonna have like 120 cards maybe by
Mhm.
the end this campaign ends. So I don't mind the workload. So
Mhm.
it's cool. So I put no limit. Maybe if we get to 200 cards, I will start thinking
Yeah.
seriously about that and just put a cap on it. But right now we're just beginning. There's maybe I believe there's only like 20 or 25 claimed. So that's not a huge queue. So yeah, I will be putting a cap on it later, but
Yeah.
later
Well,
on.
I'm tempted to have you draw some of my characters.
For sure, man. Yeah.
You know?
Yes, you can put up to 2 or 3 maybe, but it's a 6 by 4 inches card. It's a little big, but
No,
not
big
enough
is good.
to. Yep. But not as big just to put like 20 characters.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I gotta limit
Well,
that to maybe 3.
yeah, well, I think I'm gonna get in on that because I think one of the things that I try to do on this stream, like Dillard has been my guest many times. It's like when artists hang out, you just realize, oh, I could do this, and you could do this, and I could draw you this, and you could do this, but I could color it. You kind of realize where people's skills and where their passions are. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, dude, if I had sketch cards your art with my characters, I think that would be freaking awesome, you know?
That'll be awesome, man.
So I just think I might take you up on that, just because you meet somebody and you see their style and you're just like, oh man, if that gets me excited, what would it look like if they drew my guys, you know, my crew, man, or whatever. So I think I might get in on that, definitely, and definitely want to back this book too. Thanks, so man. Yeah, all right. Well, you know, Jose, like I say, I'm a little bit psychic. I feel that in a couple years you're gonna be huge.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And I want you always to remember that, you know, you come hang out with me. I'm a simple Smurf trying to make it in the universe, but not like Dillard.
I think Dillard I saw you the first time on Frega.
Oh yeah, really? Oh, I'm not sure.
That Metal Hero you were drawing with Frega, that was really cool. I actually followed your YouTube channel and that Metal Hero on that time, but I got unsubscribed. I actually got unsubscribed to the Barton Bros too, and that was like really weird. But yeah, the YouTube does some really weird stuff. But yeah, man, I was aware of your project, and you were hanging out, so it's cool, man.
Thanks. I'm not even sure that was me, though. I don't know if I've ever hung out with Frega. I would love to hang out with Frega, but you might be mistaking me for somebody else.
No, I remember Purple Smurf, man.
Okay.
But I don't know. You made me doubt if you were with Frega or
maybe
it was a draw stream. I remember. I remember everyone was drawing on. Maybe like 2 or 3 people were drawing traditionally. And I don't know. I just ended up in that stream, and that was real cool.
Cool. Well, I saw you last night on Peter's show, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that guy. Not only do I love his art, but I just love your personality and your passion for what you do. So
thanks, man.
So yeah, well, I'm gonna stay in your universe, all right, and we'll just help each other out as we build this thing.
I will be streaming on Twitch actually in a couple of minutes, man, so we can hang out there.
All right, yeah, I don't know much about Twitch. I'm totally not aware of what it's for and what it's good at, so you'll have to educate me on that.
I'm just learning myself, man.
Okay.
This is my second stream.
Yeah, but right now I got to get some sleep because it's getting late on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah,
Dillard's just starting. I mean, Dillard, it's only, 8 o'clock where you are, right?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Well, it's still early. but Dillard, I really love having you on my show. So definitely come back sometime when you haven't been, with that. Or actually, you don't have to. You can come back anytime. I was going to say when you haven't had the nail gun in your hand, all day. But
my hands are all toast right now.
Oh, I believe it. But the vibration does a job on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, keeps you working and staying active.
Keeps me young at heart is what it does.
Absolutely, yeah. You get to drill things and hammer things. Oh, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan is in the chat. Ryan, you're like the 3-time award-winning inker, and I'm a complete made-up my own technique inker. So my challenge, and I know a lot of people go through this, Ryan, is that sometimes I like my pencils better, But I'll show it one more time. I'd love to see.
Does Ryan Wynn have a YouTube channel?
Ryan Wynn has everything. That's why he's named Ryan Wynn. He's got he's got a YouTube channel. He's writing a synth folk opera or something. He's doing Hammerella. Have you seen Hammerella, Jose?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Isn't it good? Don't you love his color palette?
I love the color palette. I love the inks, and I believe he does some of it traditional, right?
Yeah, he's really a talent, and he's that rare commodity, a nice person.
I don't understand how he does that clean up an ink.
So here's the ink version, Ryan. Deep down,
Inkfinity Comics.
No, just this. We're just talking about Ryan Wynn. I think Ryan Wynn is just R.A. Wynn, raw. But Inkfinity is super talented too, though. Oh my God, that guy is awesome. But so here's my inks, Ryan. They're not as good as the pencils, I don't think. But it's a growing experience. Here's the pencils. I think it's all the thing. Everybody says this. Sometimes in the pencils you get like the emotion of the face, and I just couldn't get that same emotion when I inked it. Like the emotion in the face here. Do you see how like she's kind of looking at you a little bit sly? Like I'm the queen. Like I could just take your head off, or I could play with you first. That seductive look, and then the inks. She came out looking a little more bored. She's just like, I'm bored with you. But it is what it is. I'm just a
Both are great versions, man.
Oh, thanks. So, yeah, again, I could ink it 5 times and maybe one of those would actually hit. All right. Well, it's 1:00. We got to close up shop. You're going to do a Twitch stream. Ryan, thank you for coming on. And how can we find you on social media? You have a YouTube, you have a Twitter. Why don't you plug yourself before we go, Ryan Wynn? He actually has the belt, the championship inking belt. I asked him once. Like wrestlers have the belt. Yeah.
And he has which belt does he have though? Does he have the Intercontinental Championship, a tag team championship belt?
I think it's the international 3-time winner or something like that.
Oh, he's the world heavyweight belt is what he
is. All right. But anyway, everybody follow. He's at Ryan Wynn on Twitter, and Hammerella looks amazing. And do you want to give us a quick buckler update, Mr. Dillard, before we say goodnight?
Yeah, I'm coloring the buckler, but not right now because I can't hold a pencil.
No, I just mean in general, like progress is cruising along.
Oh yeah.
And do you have your next thing raring to go? I know you and I once had a couple go rounds about dinosaur chicks and motor girls.
Nah, you're mistaken. It's beautiful naked big titty chicks on dinosaurs.
All right. But anyway, Dillard drew this piece, and he has a few pieces in this universe about. There's one group of girls riding cybernetically enhanced zombie dinosaurs that fire lasers, and the other group of girls does souped up hot rods with machine guns mounted on the cars, and then they battle each other. Now, who wouldn't read that? Wouldn't? That's money in the bank.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for.
I decided that's going to be a add-on.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I will look forward to seeing that piece when it all comes together. Well, thanks everybody. I really appreciate you being on my show. There will be ink, and I'll just give a little closing statement, which is that this is the Digital Campfire. We're here Wednesdays 11:30. Come by anytime if you're an artist or creator or interested in getting involved. Meet cool people. Meet an artist you might collaborate with, meet Jose, meet Dillard, meet Ryan, and then maybe commission them to do a cover for you, commission them to do. I mean, this is a 24/7 marketplace that we're at. It's full of amazing people. So I appreciate everyone coming on my show. My show is no drama, hang out, talk about ideas, talk about passion, talk about creativity, and build this network and build this marketplace. So with that in mind, everybody have a good night, and let's do this again next Wednesday.
See you guys.
Take care.
Bye.